All right, Derek, we're a couple days away from the round of 32 game for the USMNT versus Bosnia. A
Mm.
huge, huge game. And I want to say something real quick, right? There are a lot of people, and I'm sure we're going to get into this. A lot of people are kind of bypassing this game, overlooking it, and kind of going on to the round of 16. Including, there's been a lot of people on Twitter where people are talking about round of 16 who we're going to play and stuff. So it's like they're overlooking this match and already thinking about the next round. And if we know anything, that's a dangerous game to play. And I've honestly done that myself, or I started to do that. Then I was like, wait a second, we have to take this game by game. We cannot guarantee anything.
Sure.
We have to take Bosnia serious, and we have to try to take care of business with them first before anything else happens.
I think we've all cheated at the bracket just to see.
Hey, real quick, if you guys haven't already, make sure you hit that like button down below and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We're growing like crazy. The World Cup is among us, and we have a lot of content you guys are not going to want to miss. So also make sure you guys hit that little bell notification so you never miss any of our videos.
You know, who's in our side of the bracket. But yeah, this is not a given. Certainly not. I mean, we're supposed to beat, well, Bosnia and Herzegovina. We have to play two countries, right?
Yeah.
So, anyhow, we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I mean, there's some people who are going to get a little ahead of themselves. Just, I guess, I mean, it's not the best way to invest all your emotions because, you know, we might have to deal with a close game on Wednesday and you've already told yourself that you've moved on. Well, I know our players aren't going to do that. Well, at least they better not, because Bosnia are fully capable of throwing down a pretty sturdy low block and making it really difficult and winning on a set piece, right? A corner kick, set piece, cross. You know, you don't know. You still got good players on that team. Yeah, sure. The best ones are really old. And I saw somebody else, was it Eldon Hashik was on Pete's show, and he didn't even have Baraktarovic starting, right? I found that a little weird. Why not? I think he will start. I think he's one of the best midfielders they have, and one who actually has some speed. So you got to use that kid. Yeah. So yeah, can't jump too far ahead. Bottom line.
Well, and today we're recording this Monday, right? This will also be out today. We saw Brazil and Japan. There was a scare. Japan went up early. Brazil was able to level it, I think, in the 56th minute, and then they got the game-winning goal, I think, in added time. And so they were able to win 2-1. But it just shows that when it's one game, anything can happen. Anything can happen. Like it does. Sometimes the better team doesn't win. Like to your point, they could bunker down. They could play the ugliest game all time and try to get a late score or get that one goal and then, you know, park the bus even more, or try to take this thing to penalties and win an extra time or whatever, right?
Yeah. So I would just add this, though, with the Japan thing. Japan beat Brazil not long ago in a friendly. So it's not like they haven't already shown that they have the ability. They're a really good team. So I knew Brazil was not going to overlook them. And, I mean, they're no one to sneeze at. I can see why people are more easily. I mean, I can see why they might want to overlook Bosnia. I just think it's a really bad idea.
No, I agree. So let's talk about Bosnia real quick, right? Because let's talk about their group stage. Now, they were in a pretty atrocious group, if you ask me. They played in Group B with Qatar, Switzerland, and Canada.
Probably the worst group in the World Cup.
Probably the worst group in the World Cup. They drew with Canada. They lost to Switzerland 4-1. They got absolutely beat down in that last. I think it was the last game. No, it was the middle game. And then they beat Qatar. There's their one loss. Now Qatar might be the worst team in the entire tournament, right?
Very close, if not. Yes.
Very close, if not. So Bosnia is not really battle tested. They haven't really beaten anybody that you would, you know, quiver in your boots about. They're kind of
tied Canada. I mean, that seems like that's pretty good for us.
Very good for us. So you mentioned a second ago about their team being old. I mean, look at Edin Dzeko. Edin Dzeko is 40 years old, still playing. It's hard to believe. I remember when he left Man City years ago, and everyone was saying, okay, this is where he really starts to decline. He's still starting for Bosnia, like 10 years later.
Right.
What's your Is there anything that scares you? Because we're going to get more into this, but is there anything that, like, initial reaction that maybe scares you a little bit, or is a concern against Bosnia?
Not on the Bosnian end. Believe it or not, they're fairly slow. They're not a quick team, but they're tough. They're a tough team, but they're not a nasty team. They're not going to do nasty things to us. I don't think they will. I mean, it's very possible they could try to get overly aggressive, maybe chop down some guys early on, pick up some yellow cards, try to get us out of our game and irritate us. But they'll play a low block and try to hit us on a very slow counter, which we should be able to handle. Again, they're not speedsters. So, yeah, they're going to try to get forward and maybe pick up a foul. And if, we don't play set pieces well when they get them, and they will get 1 or 2, 3, if we're not focused on those corner kicks or penalty from outside the box, free kicks, that could zap us right in the butt. So we're going to have to be careful about that. Otherwise, that would be just about whatever I would say if we played a team that was competent, but I knew we were better than. Because you can still get beat by teams that are competent if they, in fact, play in a very competent, smart way, if they've done their homework on the team and they shut down the parts of our team that are effective. Good luck on them doing that, because there are lots of those parts to shut down. There, you can't just shut down one guy anymore. So I'm not going in overly concerned about Bosnia. I'm more concerned: are we ready? Are our heads in the game? Are we going to be focused? And I hope we will be, and I think we will be. I don't think Poach is going to let that happen. So I feel relatively good about this game going into it.
Okay, let's talk about us, right? We talked a little bit about Bosnia, and then we'll talk about the matchup, but let's talk about the United States. We just had the greatest group stage that we talked about already that we've ever had, especially in our lifetime. Maybe you could argue 30, but we weren't alive for that.
Well, I almost was, but yeah.
You were close. You just missed the cut, right? You just missed the cut, barely. But so this is the best group stage we have had in our lifetime.
Yep.
8 goals, 2 wins. Never had 2 wins in a group stage before. Probably could have got a draw I think we would have won, actually, if we'd started our stars. But the game didn't matter, right?
Mm-hmm.
What you just said is very important about, like, Pochettino having the guys ready, because once the group stage is over, it doesn't matter anymore.
Right.
Everyone gets a clean slate.
Yes.
It's completely like the whole thing just restarts. That's each round it restarts to me.
Yeah.
So how do you, like, what gives you confidence that Pochettino, because you just mentioned that, what gives you confidence that he's going to have the guys continue what we've seen?
I think they're going to go in with the same confidence they brought in the first 2 games. And they're getting Pulisic back. That's going to help them. And I think Pochettino has well beaten that complacency out of them. I think he's had enough time to do it. I think he set enough precedent early on, saying, hey, if, I'll leave you. You won't play. We won't even call you up. And I think that back when it happened, that I think that shone some light up some anal canals, and people woke up. And some of those guys didn't make the team. Musa. I mean, there are other reasons why Musa didn't make the team. He had a horrible year. But you always thought Musa would be one of his guys. We all thought that at one point. So I just don't think that's going to be the problem. The only thing that could haunt us also is our sometimes careless and clueless passing in the back. That makes me nervous still. And it only takes one error. Look at how quick Brazil got zapped by Japan today from one error. And then look how quickly Japan got zapped in that last goal when they gave it up near their own box at the very end of the game. And, of course, that player could barely lift himself off the field after the game because he knew he had basically lost the game for Japan. So we can't make mental errors like that at all. I want us to be confident, but you can't play stupid either. And that is still something, unfortunately, we have still had a tendency to do leading up the 2 friendlies leading up to this particular World Cup. And then I haven't seen as much, but we've seen some bad passes and bad giveaways even in the first 2 games.
You know, one thing that was concerning to me, and I feel very good about our 11, obviously. We've seen nothing to show really any concern, I think, in total, right?
Right.
But the one thing that concerns me is the depth, which, still hopefully nothing happens. I don't want to talk something into existence of someone getting hurt or whatever. But that is obviously an issue for concern. And I will say that after what we saw with our back 3 against Turkey, that makes me feel even more confident in Poach's decision to start Ream, Richards, and Freeman as his 3. Not that we had any questions about Richards and Freeman, but Ream more specifically.
Yeah.
Ream has been covered pretty well by the other guys. His passing is still good. So I say all that to say it makes me trust Pochettino. I think he knows what he's doing. I mean, he gets paid the big bucks. You would hope so, but I believe in him.
Yeah. The good news is, outside of a couple guys on this Bosnian team, there's nobody that can really just blow by Ream. Zeko he's not going to blow by Ream.
He's older than Ream.
They're comparable aged, right? And he might be actually slower than Ream at this point. So I don't think that's something we need to have to worry about as much as we normally would or did at the beginning of this tournament. And Ream has shown that he's, at least the way they've communicated in the back, that he's always had cover, whether it be Adams going over to help or it be Jedi. Either way, he's had help when he's needed it. And as long as that mentality remains, then I think we'll be fine. I think we'll be fine because this team simply doesn't have any speedsters. When Barak Tarvic is one of your fastest guys on your team, you're not a super fast team, right? So, I think, that's why it's coming down to me for, are we going to have a head and ass moment? We don't need one of those where you just make this really stupid pass that exposes the whole back line and gives it away in a real vulnerable place. Because I don't think Matt Freese is going to make any amazing saves for you. He'll make the standard saves, but he's not making anything that's going to make your jaw drop. And neither will Matt Turner, but Matt Turner's not playing. That's the end, I think, for him in the tournament.
No, I agree with that. So let's talk about some keys to winning this game. You mentioned not turning the ball over in a bad spot to win, but let's talk about key players, right? This will be Christian Pulisic's first start since the Paraguay match, which was June 12th. So that's almost 3 weeks in between, maybe a little over 3 weeks in between matches. And so we haven't seen him play. We haven't even seen him play a full 90 with the ideal starting 11. Who do you think give me 2 key players that you think has to have a great game in order for us to win? Not just a good game, a great game.
Right now, I think it's still Pulisic. I think he needs to have a really good game. He needs to shine. And then for me, it's kind of after that, it's almost like a group of guys have to have and it's like McKennie and Tillman and Adams have to be on their game because they're so crucial. If you want one of the 3, I think it's crucial that Adams be absolutely healthy and on his game because if he is, that allows McKennie and Tillman and everybody up front to do their thing, Balogun included. So, and Dest. So if we got a really sharp Tyler Adams who's not overcommitting and making any really bad decisions, that frees everybody up in front of him to go play. So now I'm thinking about it, Adams seems to be the key for me because as long as he keeps our back line settled.
Hey everyone, quick word from our sponsor, FanDuel. If you're into soccer like I am, you already know how exciting La Liga, the Premier League, and MLS matches can get. With FanDuel, you can make it even more fun by placing bets on your favorite teams and matches across all 3 leagues. Whether it's a Premier League showdown, a La Liga thriller, or an MLS game with your local club, FanDuel makes it easy and exciting to bet on what you watch. Just remember, you have to be 21 years or older to play. Please bet responsibly and only if you're of legal age and in a state where it's allowed. Download the FanDuel app or head over to fanduel.com, sign up, and get in on the action. Thanks for supporting the channel through FanDuel.
And makes it impossible for them to advance the ball quickly in a counter because he's cut down the lane and he's already there and he's in your face and he's taking the ball away. That allows freedom for Tillman and McKinney to roam more and be more offensive minded. So I think he's still the key.
So I got a little pushback, nothing too crazy from Tack when I said this, but when I did my preview for the World Cup, I told him the United States are not going to beat teams defensively. I feel like this is the World Cup where they're going to have to score more than the opponent. Like, and I'm not saying obviously you have to score more to win, but I'm saying like if it's the other team scores 3, you have to score 4. Like we're going to have to score a plethora of goals. And if you saw, that's what we beat Paraguay, scored 4 goals. Australia, we only scored 2, but Pulisic wasn't playing. That's a huge piece, obviously, in the attack. Mm-hmm. We scored 2 against Turkey. Probably could have scored more if we had the starters, right? I think my key, I think, is Ballo, because outside the first game, which he didn't play the third game, but like I want to see that consistency. I want to see him be a dynamic goal-scoring threat in the box. I want to see him put the back line of the other team on put pressure on them. I want him to be a nightmare, a terror for the opposing team. And I think he has to not only have a great game, I think he's got to score in this game. I think he's got to find the back of the net in this game. We need him. Derek, he's the most talented striker we ever had. He's got to score and produce like it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I just think he needs to be involved with the goals. If he scores, great. But if the goals come from Pulisic, Tillman, and whomever, I'm fine with that too. But he does need to be involved. He cannot disappear like Pepe did in the last game. To be fair to Pepe, I mean, that was a B team he was playing with. He looked better the game before. Not considerably better, but at least better than he did in that game. So, yeah, I think the whole attacking front, though, is more free to play and be who they need to be. And they're going to have to need to be that way because we know that Bosnia are going to play in a low to mid block. I doubt they'll play in a mid block. They're smart. They watched the footage of the Paraguay game. Don't play a mid block. You better chuck down into a low block. But then, you say that. And Australia played a low block, and we beat that too. So, on at least theoretically, you look at everything. This should be our game. This is pretty well set up for us. This is the kind of team we can beat. It should be a team we are used to beating. And they're a lot like Australia in a lot of ways. In fact, at least physically, but they're not even as quick as they can't counter like Australia can. They
or as young.
They don't have that kind of speed. So that's something we won't necessarily have to worry about as much. I guess the worry would be the game goes 0-0 after extra time and we're going to PKs because we couldn't get through that mid block, or they get 1 goal and a set piece and we just can't figure out how to get through that low block because it's so good. Maybe that's possible. I mean, it is possible for a team to tree at some point and play the best defense of their life, but I just don't see that being the case. I think we're going to score at least 2. I think 2 goals is minimum for me.
So what is your official score prediction? You think it's be 2-1, 2-0?
I'm going to say 3-1 United States.
That's exactly my score prediction too.
I think that's scary.
Yeah, no, I swear to God, that's what I was going to say. 3-1. I think we're going to see a combination of not as good as Paraguay, but better than Australia. Even though Australia was good too, it's like somewhere in the middle. We both agree the Paraguayan game was like an offensive frenzy, so attacking frenzy. So that's I think it's going to be slightly worse than that, but more goals than Australia. I think it's going to be 3-1. So let me ask you this final question, right? What happens if we lose this game?
Oh, well, a lot of us might want to consider if we're doing the right show anymore. I know Brett and I will have to have that conversation if we lose this game. I mean, we'll still do it, but, it'll be a real kick in the baby nuts. I'll tell you that much. And you know about that. You have a baby. I'm just saying, yeah, that would be really, really demoralizing for the whole country. And it would obviously be an upset, a massive upset. So someone would be to blame here for that. Someone would have had to have screwed up, right? So that's going to lead to finger pointing. Boy, let's hope we don't go down that route, because it really just it really kills some massive momentum, not only for U.S. soccer and the men's game, but also just the sport in this country in general. The further we go, the more fans latch on, and the more people say, soccer, that's a pretty good sport. I think I might watch that a little more. Hey, what is my local team? I got a team in North Carolina. Oh, I do? Oh, okay. Let me go check them out, right? But yeah. You'll have the other people who are like, what team should I support in England? Should it be like Liverpool or Man United? Yeah. Just go ahead and pick the biggest team. How many people pick the biggest team in whatever country to be their favorite team?
Most.
It's so boring. Guys, pick somebody who's not like I've been all in for Fulham for 20 years. Okay, it's been a roller coaster for me. But the last thing I would do is say, my favorite team is Liverpool. Actually, Liverpool's fine. You want to pick Liverpool, that's good. But Man United, Chelsea, Arsenal, so boring, man. Don't do that to us. First of all, go check out an MLS team. I know it doesn't have Pro Rel. I know it doesn't. But, try to go local and support a local team. I know Brett supports Chicago. I'm an LA Galaxy fan. Makes sense of that. It's not even a local team. But Brett and I also started a professional soccer team here called Indy 11 in the USL. Together, we were one of the co-founders. So we supported that for years. It's a little bit harder for us to do that now, but because we're busy, we got jobs, etc. Anyhow, yeah, try it. I think if we lose the steam, it's a massive disappointment. The steam goes out.
I think it would hurt worse because of how good we were in the group stage. We saw the potential, and it's completely stalled out. Mid jump. That would be the most disappointing part, because we know how we know. You and I both know we're better than Bosnia, but sometimes it doesn't matter. Sometimes the game goes the way it goes, and the better team doesn't win. I'll say this: if we lose, it's not gonna be pretty. I don't even want to think about it.
It's gonna be bad. Yes.
I don't even want to think about it. I don't want to put that negative energy in the air. Guys, let me know who you guys think is gonna win this game. I think it's gonna be 3-1. Derek thinks it's gonna be 3-1. Let me know if you guys think it's gonna be 3-1, or if you think Bosnia is gonna upset us. Let us know down below. Final words, Derek, before we go. Any encouraging words? I know it was a little dark right there because I was just asking. Any encouraging words before we depart?
We just went to a really dark place there. But, anything's possible, right? That's the horrible truth about, living in a real world, and reality and realism in general is weird stuff happens. It's like they hand him a 20-sided dice, and they say, but if you roll any number, you're fine. And of course, he rolls a 1. Well, somebody's got to roll a 1, right? So yeah, let's hope that doesn't happen. Let's not roll a 1. And find ourselves dropped from the tournament and the sport probably buried for a while again, and just be in a deep, dark place. So let's go USA. Let's win this darn thing. Let's just do it. Let's go out and win. That's what I say. That's my last word.
USA. Let's do it.
Do it, guys.
I appreciate you guys for watching. Make sure you go check out Derek and Brett at the Straight Red Card. Always appreciate Derek. He's been doing all of these previews with me, which I'm very thankful for. Guys, have hope. We'll see what happens. Trust in us. And hey, whatever happens, happens, but I feel pretty good about it. Until next time, guys, I will see you all soon.